we've got some introductions to make. Number two, you see him here in the chat, Mister Doug Hype himself.
Oh.
Doug Hype, how's it going, sir?
Super fantastic. I'm just broadcasting from I can't remember the call signs of this radio station, but we're here in Hype Town. How's it going?
We're doing good. I was reminded of an oldie but goodie. Do you remember this? Kong, you might remember this beat. Do you remember this, Doug?
We're going to be going to YouTube and doing a stream in a second. So each of those people are probably in the chats right now. Goose Gang in the house.
That's right.
In the house. In the house.
That was so fun.
In the house. In the house. In the house.
Baby.
That was so fun.
And that was a home run, man.
That was a home run beat, bro, Doug. I miss Grady, man.
Man, me too.
Oh,
I wish he was here.
I wish he was
I
here.
wish Grady was here, bro.
I can't. It's just I miss him too. I miss him a lot.
Oh, what's that noise? Is that the grade?
Baby,
Let's
go.
In the house.
Oh, baby.
In the house.
Oh, baby.
Brought him back. He's back. He's here.
In the house.
Back to life.
I'm still alive.
He is.
Barely.
But he's still here. Welcome
Let's
back.
go.
Welcome
What's up,
back, Grady.
Crypto
You
Grady?
bunch of pure, good-looking hunks of men flesh. Let's go, baby. Where have you been all of my life?
Damn
it.
it's can I say Grady?
SARS upgraded. SARS upgraded since I was last here.
Every one of those. Fight, battle.
One man production team. Eat the whole cake. That's like,
Babe.
Okay, we're all here. Are we still dancing to no music?
I'm rocking it.
can you not hear it?
I hear it.
We're still.
Ours is knocking the StreamYard audio out the car.
It's Doug. It's not Doug now. It's Doug's show.
Let's go.
Where did this come from?
Let's go. Crypto's pumping.
Crypto's pumping. Rated.
Crypto's been pumping.
Rated.
100K, man. 100K. Let's go.
I was getting worried a little bit.
What can
Here
I
we go,
say?
right here.
Do we have a topic of discussion?
We do. It's everything and anything.
Probably
Okay.
was just free balling.
We got Sticks and Sir Worm. We got iOS Code Dream, J-Dub, Joe. Okay, so
All right,
I see the
there's a lot of
chat.
things we can talk about.
Hi, Doug.
Like
Hi,
a
Doug.
beat drop.
Doug.
Yeah,
Doug,
many things to
Doug,
talk
cut it off,
about.
Doug.
Start
Cut it off,
somewhere.
Doug. Cut it off, Doug. Oh, I forgot. I'm in charge. Cut you off, Doug. Give me a minute. Grady,
So
take the floor.
I'm
Take the
worried
floor
that
for a second.
AI. So like AI can now do things like call my mom as if it's me because it studied me. It knows it's me. It knows my mannerisms, my voice fluctuations. Call my mom and impersonate me. Just wait for all the scams. Doug, you're muted.
I muted you. Sorry, Doug. One sec. There you go. Doug.
He's
got his mic on.
I was just making jokes about the, like, you know,
Oh,
I can't hear you over the cake, Dogs.
over the cake. I want to eat the whole cake.
I want to eat the whole cake too.
So
Getting
AI
mouth gagged with a cake.
with people, the way people take in information these days, which they see it and believe it without verifying often. That's common. That's probably a problem. AI is doing so much so fast, and it's going fast.
It is.
That's
For
Yeah,
those
you
of
have to
you
make sure-
for those of you who are wondering what we're chatting about today, it's everything and anything. We're shooting the shit. I said, Grady, would you do me the honor of coming on my show? And he's like, what are we talking about? Just anything.
he
Anything. He's like, can we
the
talk about
grave.
AI? I was like, let's talk about fucking AI. What do I know about it?
Sarge has reached into my grave and pounded and smacked me around a little bit
I did.
and
I
said,
did.
"You're coming, Grady,
You're
on
coming.
the show.
You're coming
You
on.
can't get away."
You're coming on. And I said, Doug, you're coming with what the fuck? I can't unmute your guest because you chose to mute yourself.
You muted me again, so then I muted myself.
I thought he was frozen there. He was.
I couldn't hear over the cake song, Doug. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. And I was getting a little soundboard jealous. Not
Hey,
gonna lie.
Sticks Intern, by the way, is the fantasy football guru of all gurus, master of the universe.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna
We
be
have the
honest.
Duel League.
I wanna eat the whole cake.
He's back with the. I'm gonna be honest. When SI told me he was talking, I said I miss Grady, and SI's like I talk to him like every day about fantasy football, and he's like, I was like, what the fuck you talking? You talking to Grady every day? I need my Grady. Where's my Grady fix?
Hey, we're trying to make it.
That's a
Life's
good
been
entry point
crazy.
to-
Kong, Doug,
Yeah.
Sarge, I miss you guys. I love you guys. Life's crazy. Crypto's pumping. That's good.
Are we gonna do like questions? Should we go around like the thing and have everybody say like what they've been up to, or like?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, Doug.
Because right now we're just
Honored.
like changing the topic every 10 seconds.
Yes.
What did you expect? Coordination from this
Yeah,
show?
start of the middle, Nasty. You're the best host I've ever.
Doug,
seen
we
in my
have
life.
drones randomly flying above New Jersey. What's going on with that?
That's what Grady's been up to today. I asked him, I was like, hey, have you been catching drone stuff? But you know, I'm sure people want to know what you've been up to. You've been watching drones, you've been doing some AI stuff, some research, some concerns you have. What else you've been up to? You said you've been following you know, crypto in general here at large, macro. Anything you care to share with people watching?
I'm a head case still.
Well, we're all a little head.
Okay.
We've
Yeah.
been here this long. We're all a little head crazy. I guess.
Yeah, I was, you know, losing my conviction a little bit in crypto, where, you know, the markets
That
have
happens.
turned so much, where there is so much vision and in the past. So
Yeah.
2016, 2017, and it was like all the upcoming vision and
Yeah.
like passion driven stuff, what seemed to be going on. And then
Yeah.
it was just hard. It's hard to trust things these
No,
days.
no, I got
You
it,
just
yeah.
don't know. And so I was getting worried about the ecosystem as a whole, because you don't see that like we used to. The vision, the passion, the conviction for the technology and the innovation and all that going on as much these days. And so we've had a lot of people get wrecked in the past, but then, man, and then all of a sudden, I'm glad I kind of hung on, you know, to most of my crypto, because
We're here.
I was starting to sell a bunch of it off. Broke, you know, it was a joke. And so
I've been trying to use Doug Hype as my exit liquidity. Is it working, Doug?
You know, for a while, but then when everything started pumping, I just forgot about it. Didn't even matter.
dang,
So
dang. Fun fact, Grady.
Eve.
Fun fact. I was
Eve.
on TV. I was on the YouTube at Utah, KC.
do we have a
and
screenshot of that?
I don't.
Where's the production team?
Where's the production?
Hey,
God,
hey,
he is so
Leslie, the
fired.
producer person, bring that up.
Bring it up. Bring it up. I need to hire a production team. See, a very well prepared Sergeant Filthy McNasty would have had that queued up, but I'll pull it up here in a sec. But I will say, you know, my beautiful chin was up there for 30 seconds, and it's like,
not only that, I shoot away all the hot girls and stuff, and I was like,
Absolutely.
get out
absolutely.
of here. Filthy McNasty, get right here, center stage.
It
Literally, that's what happens. Like, get out of my face,
was
beautiful women.
Wow.
This man is more handsome than you.
I've
right
never
here.
been. Oh, I got
Yeah,
it
man,
queued up
now.
because I got it queued up because I watched this. I watched this scene like religiously, Doug.
He just
so
plays
you
it back every day
I
when he
do.
wakes up.
and before I fall asleep. Let's
Before-
get it straight. Like it's before and after. So let me pull it up. What do we do? How do I do it? Here we go. Look at this beautiful face. So here,
All right, there's me and Apollo. You can see the shirt right
this
there.
is my ear. You can see
Wait,
my
what?
ear.
Is this a karate combat? This is a
Yeah.
karate combat event.
It was a karate.
There is a
combat.
shot where we can see you though.
Just a little bit. Like
Oh,
It was your job to position yourself so the camera could see you, but it was hard for me to
I didn't
coordinate all
want
that.
I don't want to break things, you know. Oh, hey, that my eye. Oof.
I know I know we see
Your
you at
eye.
some point.
it's
There
it is.
Yes.
King Apollo's
Yes!
like perfectly in front of you.
Seth with Mind Your Biz was in there.
Yeah, it was
So behind next to him was Postmaster who fought in Thailand, but you couldn't see his head.
Man, the amount of events.
And there's
they rip
Alex
off in
Pereira. See the
consecutive
next shot's
months.
Alex Pereira, like superstar. You're right next to the superstar.
There we go.
it is.
Yes, there
There
he
it
is. Beautiful.
Sarge.
Just the sexiest thing.
There it is. There you go.
Look at
Filthy
him, he's
Nasty
hyped.
right up in there.
It's beautiful.
Let's go.
It was great. It was beautiful.
There you go. Someone made
yeah,
a good meme out of that.
What'd you
So-
guys think of the Bit Boy fight? Where he's like a full head shorter, at least a full head shorter.
Dude,
That was
it's like,
wild.
come on.
That was quite a
yeah, it
fight.
was too much,
It was
man.
wild. It was
That was wild. He's got the heart.
He's
He
got
knew about
balls.
4
He's a
inches
rabid
on
dog,
his
is what he
reach.
is.
He just
Rabid
couldn't get up
dog.
there to him, man.
He's a rabid dog. He doesn't.
Rabid dog.
He's a rabid dog.
And then our boy Jay
Handsome. Oh,
Jay Chains was like, I was thinking maybe he was about to pull it off, and then he got knocked the F out.
yeah. Eric
Right.
stumbled a little bit. You know, that's the first time I've seen him stumble like that.
It's like a total Mike Tyson perfect timing punch.
Yes.
Like bonk. It's like right when he's coming in for a punch, bonk, and he was done.
Yes. Yes.
That's that experience, man.
Doug, were you aware that without a doubt, it is fun fact. Grady is the most interesting man alive.
He is the life of parties he has never attended. If he were to punch you in the face, you would have to fight off the strong urge to thank him. Sharks have a week dedicated to him. He is the most interesting man in the world.
All those quotes were pretty spot on.
They're spot on. They're fun
That was
facts.
good.
Just fun
He's
facts.
the life of a parties he didn't attend.
People talk about him when he's not, I mean, you go to a party, he's not there. You talk about Grady.
He
Where's Grady?
punched
How's Grady?
you in the face. You'd have to fight off. You wouldn't say thank you. You would have to fight off the urge to say thank you.
I saw a better Grady IFC fight than I did a Mike Tyson fight. I'm just putting it out there. Just putting it out there.
Let's go.
Well, nice. I do find it slightly.
I mean, this is exciting stuff, guys.
Oh, we apparently have a decision rendered on this one. Yeah, we just skirted over the fact that Charles Oliveira is.
Decision
Yes.
was bullshit.
I got my blood on the mat.
He looked like
Yeah.
a white Mike Tyson out there. You got the
No, I'm
strong
still
back.
Pissed off
You-
about that fight.
and like Tyson, you lean into your punches. You like throw your body with the punch to make sure you get the.
Well, so my best my best thing I have going for me is the hard, quick jab, where I'm not doing that. But he's so stealthy. That's where his best. He's sneaky.
He's
That's
sneaky and
Grimace's
fast.
best skill is he's good at. He knows when to come in and retreat.
Yeah.
And he'll bait you. You know, I was trying
His
to bait him
balance.
in. I was trying to bait him in.
He double
like,
reverse
they
dual
changed-
carded you. He did to you what you thought you were gonna do to him.
Yeah. And then it was like, it's still, the flashbacks are like feeling like I'm about to suffocate to death the whole time.
Cause you're at high elevation and
Oh
you
my
had food
gosh.
poisoning and like, yeah.
And so it
Hey.
still eats me alive. I came
I
back.
forgot about the food poisoning.
Oof.
Well, yeah, I had total Montezuma's revenge. So for 2 days leading up to it, and then the day of that, my fever broke, and I was like, okay, no, this is gonna break my way.
That was
Gonna
so
be
wild
good.
too. That was the first one. That's
And
crazy.
and I had pulled my hamstring and stuff. That's really what killed me the most, was when I pulled a hamstring.
Oh,
But-
geez, you pulled a hammy too.
I pulled my hamstring like, okay, remember when I came to Vegas to Karate Combat 43 right before our Karate Combat 44 event? That same week, I pulled my hamstring and was gimpy in Vegas. I couldn't. And I was so pissed. And it was actually at that point when my coach just totally pretty much just gave up on me. And so it's like, oh, I was gonna for sure come back and just get in the best shape of my life. But my knee it was so weird, because after the fight, my knee was fine the next morning, and my knee was fine. Then the next night, it just blew up, like swollen. You remember that, Kong? And
Yeah.
and it
So
just
Kong-
didn't get better. And months go by and it didn't get better. And so I did talk to my doctor again this week about, I just need a new knee. It's fully arthritic.
Oof.
Yeah, that's what you've been saying.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
Doug,
so, but, and
where were
also
you?
torn rotator cuff. So it's actually most of my pain. Both rotator cuffs are torn.
Oh,
Not-
goodness.
Actually, I found out yesterday or 2 days ago, it's not 100% torn, which is why it's got more pain. Once it's fully torn, it stops hurting. And I didn't even know that. So I'd gotten MRIs years past, and it was like one side was like 60% torn, the other 70%. And I've just dealt with it for years. Same with the knee. I just dealt with it, but it just wouldn't get better. And so that hasn't helped my headspace, because I definitely could have fought again. George needed a fighter a few months ago for one of the events, and I was like, no, man, I haven't even gotten out of bed. Worst shape of my life.
My goodness. Doug,
Yeah,
were you at that IFC?
Yeah, I've been to all of them.
So why didn't you tap in? I mean, you watched Grady and you didn't like here, take my coat, Grady. You know, it's got powers.
Yeah.
that was my first one though. So like I was getting just like used to it. I didn't know that you could take people into Karate Combat either, but if I knew that was the rule, you could have just tagged me in, you know, and like
Tag 'em in.
you could have taken a break for a few minutes.
We don't know the rules. It's the first.
It was my
one.
first one.
you-
I didn't know that was a rule.
I got it. I
I'm
got
getting
it.
acclimated.
I thought about it though. I was like kind of side of the pit, being like, should I tag in? Because that's what you do in combat sports, obviously.
Man. So
Sometimes you need a break.
yeah, what eats me up about it is like I kind of like discovered when I'm 43 years old, like, man, I should have been doing this when I was young, because
Yeah, it's hard because you know, like, and also like your first like fight or whatever, like Postmaster just fought in Thailand and he did amazing. It almost looked like too easy for him, but he's fought before. He's trained his whole life. He's fought before. He's in crazy shape. He has like 2% body fat. Like the guy, and also like when you're well trained for a long time and you've done it, everything's more efficient and tastes like energy. Like, and you're not thinking as much, so it just seems easy. But when you do something for the first time, any sport, in front of people and everything, there's your brain, everything just drains you so much because you're thinking about so many things. It's the first time your nervous system's going nuts.
So here's the thing though, for me, what was weird was that I felt just as normal as I do now, just as normal when I wake up. Kong can probably attest to that. I kept saying Like, why do I just feel so chill leading up, like walking
Really?
out, getting ready to fight?
Really?
And
That's
so I
impressive.
just and like taking a punch was so exhilarating. So like I always had this, you never really know until you actually fight. That was my first fight. I was like, I know I can like punish his fist with my face. Like,
Yeah.
you just go
Yeah,
mode.
like Mike Diamond style. Yeah, like bare
Yeah.
knuckle boxing.
And so, but you never really, I always had it in my mind, like I can take a beating and be fine, you know, just some of those things. And it's like, yes, check. And that's what pisses me off so much.
So Kong, you were Grady's cut man. I mean, you were their sideline. You were
Doug was there, Kong was there.
What?
I was the cut man with no cut man equipment.
Yeah,
Listen.
yeah.
Grady did that. Grady was his own cut man.
Well,
We're doing a poll in the chat whether Grady should do bare knuckle boxing, because if you want to use your face as a weapon, where you do it.
there you go.
You know, Grady, you may not remember this, but I was at that IFC and I had the pleasure of interviewing you before the fight. Yeah, let me play a video, see if you have any recollection here.
What type of legacy would you like to leave behind when it's all said and done?
Well, I don't know. I don't believe in legacy. I just think that's another word for ego. Legacy doesn't mean nothing. It's just some word everybody grabbed onto. Someone said that word, grabbed on the word, and now it's used every 5 seconds. It means absolutely nothing. I'm just pass him or die, and it's going to be over. Who cares about legacy after that? What a big ego. I'm going to die. I want people to think that I'm this, I'm great. No, we're nothing. We're dead. We're dust. We're absolutely nothing. Our legacy is nothing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is something that I have not heard before someone say that as an answer. So thank you so much for giving me that kind of idea as well.
Can you really imagine somebody saying, I want my legacy to be this way when I get dead? Why do you want to think really want to think about you? What's the audacity? I think I want people to think about me when I'm gone. Who the fuck cares about me when I'm gone? My kids and grandkids.
True.
I love how Mike is talking to a 10-year-old, and at the end, I think she's like about to start crying. Like, I don't know if he spaced out and forgot who he was talking to, but he's like, I mean, what an interview to lay on a 10-year-old with a YouTube channel, yeah.
Oh man. So that Tyson fight, the first round or two, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, Mike Tyson is back, baby. Look at him. He's actually back. And then all of a sudden he looks 60 again.
Yeah, he had all injuries too. Brady had like the knee injury.
Yeah.
Apparently he had like all other injuries he didn't talk about either. Then he almost died like 2 months ago. He's in the hospital.
Yep.
Like the guy was like 1 foot in the grave and he was fighting in the ring. Like I watched an interview on YouTube with some other boxer, and they're like, if you had that many injuries, like you should have waited a year before you even thought about fighting, and you're like 68 years old or whatever. Like, you know, like what the fuck are you doing? So that was a rough fight for Mike.
Yeah, that was not the best, right, Kong? Kong really loved that fight, right?
I gotta apologize to my viewers. Apparently, the audio for that was bad. Whatever, I get it. It's me. Yeah, I've been censored by YouTube twice. Apparently, I can't say it was good.
What?
Because that could be conceived as a spam message to the people viewing. I don't know what the fuck that means, but whatever. Yes, it wasn't good.
Our buddy Paisan's fighting next weekend in
He's
Miami.
fighting KG, yeah?
Yeah.
Wait, is he fighting Karate Combat?
Yeah, him and Kagi are fighting.
Oh, wow.
In Miami next week.
Okay. They had to push that out, yeah?
They had a lot of issues in Miami. Dude, there's been a lot of bad luck because in Thailand, of course, one championship tried to get all their stuff canceled because they threatened everyone in the city. They had to move venues like 2 days before, but they all got it taken care of. For Miami, it's been similar stuff. I don't know what the deal is, but they had to change venues a bunch of times, change the date. It's hard. I don't know what's going on with it, but so they are doing it in an airport hangar now. So it's going to be some crazy airport hangar. I don't know if they're going to bring in crazy jets and stuff and weird stuff, but that's the deal now. But Owen Kamaya is hold on. The main card is here. If you can see it in the app right now, is my homeboy Owen Kamaya and Vergara, Arturo Vergara, who is a cool dude too. Like he's a great dude that's always been fighting a lot. And it's funny because when they announced this fight, everyone was like, "Oh shit, those are two of the like most favorite people in the sport in Karate Combat." And now they're fighting against each other, and nobody wants to take a side because they're friends with both of them. So it's like it's a tough fight because everyone wants either side to win. Like no one wants them to lose. So, but I'm super team Owen Kamaya because I just love that guy so much. Like he's so cool and a badass. And he proposed to his girlfriend at Karate Combat. His mom's always there. Who's his
That was him. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, he's the dude that knocks everyone out with his fists. He's like super Irish boxer. He's just knocking you out with his fists. His hook. He's always hitting your chin all day long. Just he can't hit anything but your damn chin. Like he's so Irish. He's just like born and bred knockout artist, you know?
It's something different about blood sports. I never thought I'd be one to like care for them, right? But once you're in there, I mean, oh my God, what's your name? Pereira's sister. What's his name? What's her name, Doug?
Here I'll tell you in a second. I forget her first name all the time. Okay, let's see. She fought on this card. I'll tell you her name in just a second. But yeah, Alex Pereira was there hanging out in Utah. Man, that was crazy. I mean,
she broke her opponent's nose, and nothing like watching a broken nose and blood everywhere to kind of got you to sort of raise an eyebrow, and then you look around.
Pereira is her name, and she won. But Alex Pereira was there, and he had those security guys, and he doesn't want to be bothered a lot. And we were out at the bar and everything. And this is the crazy thing about Utah is that every night somebody got in a fight with one of the Karate Combat MMA guys. Like,
oh really?
Like every night we were there, and it was not the fighters trying to fight at all. They're like, "Don't fight me, please. Like, do not fight me. It'll end up bad." And then these like Utah people are like, it's like,
what the hell?
I don't know. They're living in the middle of nowhere in this city of 1 million people. They think they know what's up, and they think they're cool or like tough guys, and they're idiots. So they're picking fights with MMA with the Karate Combat guys, and all those fights ended within like about 30 seconds of,
of course,
or whatever. Right? Or, I don't know. So one of them was Fight God, who's not even a fighter anymore. He was on the Ultimate Fighter show, I believe, and trained and everything, but he's not like a fighter anymore. He doesn't train for fights, but he had in the past, and he's not that big of a guy. He's kind of skinny. And the guy he fought was way bigger than him, twice the size, and he just took him down. And it got on the internet and went viral a little bit. And because like, he took his girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, but all the MMA dudes are cool and good looking and like muscular. So all the women want to be with them, you know? And then
I don't blame them.
Yeah, and then
I don't blame. I must say, I went to that KC in Utah. And I flew back to San Diego, and I don't who coordinates the flights for these poor souls. After the fight, I was on the plane with a handful of the Brazilian fighters who fought at Karate Combat, and I'm like, who the fuck booked them a flight on Southwest from Salt Lake City to San Diego to who? I don't think you do a direct flight from San Diego to wherever in Brazil they were from. And these guys are like, the day after, bruised up, bloodied up on a 3-4 legged flight. I'm like, bro, that's
how MMA sports are, dude. Their flights go out the next day. For many reasons. One, because then you don't have to pay for more hotel rooms, but also they might have stuff they have to go do. You know what I mean? They might have to go to do another thing and I don't know, appearance, whatever it is. So they get them out of there. And that's the thing is when you're flying these people back to like South America or whatever, there's no direct flights to South America, dude. Like they don't exist. So they're always flying. You had to fly to like LA, then another country, and then Brazil. You know what I mean? Like it's not easy flying international. There's often not any direct flights.
Oh yeah. Right. Well, and they were on Southwest. So imagine these big like beefcakes at the back of the plane coming in at the end, squeezing in, and like they're sitting.
Dude, have you been on international flights? They get even smaller. Like you get on these big planes, and the seats are like the newer planes are like smaller seats than even before, bro. Like the brand new ones.
Well, Southwest is like royalty compared to Spirit or Frontier.
Oh,
Like
Frontier.
out
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah, Frontier
God.
and Spirit.
Kong, would you ever fight in IFC?
I would if it was maybe like Grady said, even 5 years ago, man. Ever since I just rolled 45, man, and dude, I got stuff hurting right now that I never even knew existed. I can't imagine going and getting beat up and training. And then
You're like, I didn't even know that part of
recovery-
my body existed. How does it hurt right now?
The recovery time, man, is just 5 years ago probably. Now, no way.
Hey, Kong has got some dog in him.
Got some dog in
I
him.
believe it. I believe it. You have to have some dog in you if you're gonna walk in Grady's shadow. Because brother, that shadow's got to be bigger than Grady. It's gotta be bigger if you're gonna keep up. It's just a fun fact. Can you give Grady? Can you give Raph an oh baby? He's not sure whether or not he's dreaming. This was pre-recorded. Are we live? Are we not?
Raph, baby. Oh, baby. Let's
right.
go.
Yeah.
ADFK, I still use it all the time. I've been summoning like crazy.
There you go.
Been trying to still make those monsters. Getting
go.
some double exalted abilities and summoning those with other double exalted abilities. I'm getting there.
You just gave half of the listening audience an erection unintentionally, but Doug.
But I'm not playing the damn game because I would get my ass kicked when I watched what's his name? It's not Bob Nothing, it's Just Crypto.
Just Crypto.
And
another fan favorite.
He's like the master of all masters.
He's king.
Is he the king? He's
not worthy. I'm not worthy. I've
It's like-
told them straight up.
Yeah. No
He's
chance
amazing.
if I even tried. But it's fun still trying to make those monsters, right?
That's my game. I'm there
I
with
want a
you.
quadruple exalted Dread Knight mythic.
Get behind me, Grady. Me first. That's all I'm saying. Doug. I don't want to overlook the fact that you have a very you've teased out this thing you're working on. You care to tell Grady about? There you go.
Okay,
Grady
what's this,
doesn't know.
Doug?
Tell Grady about it.
Doug, Hype Town.
So, I made all these like hype videos and all these crazy videos, promo videos, whatever, content for games and stuff. And I would have like animation that looked like The Simpsons in it and all this fun stuff. And Sam Stefanino, who won like Content Creator of the Year in like 2023, we were chatting one day and we were chatting about the South Park episode where all the kids play World of Warcraft. And he's like, it'd be so funny if you made an animation with like all of us like playing World of Warcraft or something. He loves World of Warcraft. Or, something, whatever. It just like a casual, just like thought that was in his head, right? And in my head, I'm like, that would be so cool. And South Park is about like meme style humor and sarcasm and parody and just making fun of anything and anything that's funny. It doesn't matter who you are, whatever it is. If it's funny, it's funny. You know what I mean? And that's totally my style. So I thought that'd be pretty cool. And then one day I was like, what if? And then I became an Avalanche ambassador for Avalanche blockchain. And even before that happened, though, I was like, thank you. I wanted to make a video for my announcement video where I get covered in snow, right? Like just covered in like an avalanche of snow. And it had it was the first blizzard of the year here like a month ago. And I was like, I'll go do that. But then I was like, wait, what if I did that, but it was animated and I got covered in snow? Like I got covered in snow, but when I came out of the snow, I was like an animated person, right? So I like transformed. So that was my idea. And then start doing stuff in animation like I had been transformed by the avalanche, right?
Oh.
But then it ended up being just this so then I decided, well, what if I make it into a series where I could make like South Park, but like not South Park, right? But it looks like it sort of like the style.
It looks like South Park.
But it's like Web3 stuff. So instead of in South Park having like the the one group of people versus another, all the different factions and the different groups, like the teenage kids and all the different things that they have to deal with in the battles that they have and the crazy stuff. Even in their video games, they all have like different groups and different things happening. I was like, what if I did that, but with just like Web3 stuff and Web3 games, like, and make it funny so I could put my friends in it and there could be all this conflict and drama, but like have it be fun. So I was like, oh my God, that would be so amazing. So then I had this all done out and it took me a month just to get a character made of me that looked like me. I had to like, refine the thing, find somebody to do it and get it all to look cool. And then I was like, okay, now I can like figure out this. So the first the first episode of it is basically like here, I'll send it to you if you want to see it.
Yes.
It's pinned on my page right there, but I'll put it down here in the things. And the first episode is like very short. But it's basically me getting covered in an avalanche and some guy watching being like, oh no, Doug's here. Like I just arrived in this town, right? Or like, or this neighborhood in the town or whatever. And the house has 9,000 on it, which Avalanche's blockchain is called Avalanche 9,000 now. So yeah, you can play it if you want to, if people can just see. It's really short.
It.
Yeah.
Huh? Where's my cat?
Oh no, there goes the neighborhood.
That was literally it, right?
How long did that take to make?
It's like 12 seconds long, right?
But how long did it take to make?
Well, all the planning and everything took like a month or whatever. But like the hard part is when you're doing animation, have animators, they'll be like really good at one thing and like the first 5 seconds will be amazing. And then they'll do something totally terrible. And then you have to go back and fix it. So it's like
that sounds like my show
and half terrible. And then you have to fix all of the things that don't work. Because if it doesn't all work, I don't want, whatever. So like it can take time to, and then finding somebody that can understand what you're trying to tell them to do and then make it happen without it taking like 10 revisions, right? Because once you start doing so many revisions, it just doesn't work. Like it never gets in the right direction. So then I was like, okay, I can actually probably do this. I think this is working out. And then that guy in the window, I put up a tweet. I put it in the chat here too, of like guessing who that guy is. Obviously there's hints. If you look on the building, there's a little avalanche symbol and it says 9,000 for the address of the house because the Avalanche blockchain is rebranded as kind of like AVAX 9000 as like a joke sort of like new thing with like, it's like kind of like from Dragon Ball Z or whatever.
Yes.
And so anyways, that's a little hint of like who it might be or whatever. And so then I'm going to try to like put out stories and foreshadowing and stuff with the people that like play off of what's happening within the gaming space. And people that everybody kind of knows or people might know, right? So that makes it fun because South Park's built off of people from culture, right? That we all kind of know, Tom Cruise or Jesus or whoever, right? Santa Claus, all these characters that come in, Barbara Streisand, we all know who they are, so it's easy for them to do funny stuff with it. Or things that are happening in the current news. So like with Web3, I was like, it's so perfect to do something like that. So you got layers of recognizability of like people know what South Park is and the style of humor, people know the Web3 people, and people just know me and whatever. So I was like, this could all work really easily if I do it the right way to be pretty funny.
That's perfect.
And talk a lot of trash about stuff and be funny. There's got to be some Donald Trump. Like this thing sucks, but not really mean it. It's mostly just like having fun, right? Like when we talk shit to your friends.
South Park is there's got to be lots of Donald Trump on South Park, right? Because if you love
there's all that, but the thing is that's funny is that I can put characters in this show. I can put characters in that sort of reference other characters. So if you notice in the video that you just showed, the guy looks like Randy, right? But it's not Randy. Right. So like that person is I'm making fun of them saying that they're the Randy of Web3. That's the, you know what I mean? Like, and so it's like there's all these different connections you can make that are sort of like funny.
Totally. And if you hate Donald Trump, South Park's perfect. If you love Donald Trump, South Park's perfect.
The thing I love about South Park Trump, all these people, is that they're all fucking hilarious. Like they're all, and like, here's an example. In the lead up to the election, all my friends and family are mostly liberal, and they're all like saying, our world's over with, Trump's going to win, and our world's over, and everything's ruined. Yeah. And I was like trolling them. I was like, Trump's really good at this. And then they were freaking out even more. And they're like, you're a Trump supporter. And I would just be like, Trump is doing great things over here. And I just trolled them so hard. And then 2 months later, they were so mad at me. And I'm like, you guys realize I didn't even vote for him. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I never said I was voting for him. I was
like, you're a professional troll. You're a professional troll. I love it.
Troll, baby.
And my whole point is that like people get so serious and so certain about things in life. It's so easy to make fun of them, right? Like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? No, there's nothing in the world that really bad, and there are people that really bad. Everybody's trying to do what they think is best or whatever. And if you allow that to affect you a lot, then they're winning, right? So like,
can I give you 4 names, Doug? Can I give you 4 names? There are 4 names of people I saw at Casey event, and I'm wondering whether or not you've met any of these 4. So let me give you 4 names. You've got RFK Jr., Joe Rogan, Hawk to a Girl, and Get Rich, Nick.
So I have Get Rich Nick's phone number and everything, so we've hung out a bunch of times.
Okay,
I figured you guys hit it off.
We've done videos together, but I haven't put them out there. He's been really nice and super cool. We actually had a really nice 10-minute chat about content creation, his background and stuff, and just really, Rich Nick is actually a really fucking nice guy, super awesome. Hot to a Girl and Joe. The only I talked RFK. I did meet, but at ETH Denver, not at Karate Combat.
That makes sense. Yeah,
his security was around him at Karate Combat, and some people did get to talk to him, but it took him 20 minutes of them talking to the security, and finally whatever. Hot to a Girl, she showed up and she was hanging out right by me, but I never even said hi to her because the whole time people are just coming at her, and I was like, I don't want to be another person that's just hey, whatever. She's probably exhausted talking to people. I just don't. I want people. I'm kind of I want to be everyone's friend, but I want to be your bodyguard too. Where I'm just hey, I'm making sure you're cool, making sure you're good. Everything's cool over here. I got other stuff I got to do, whatever. But Joe Rogan, I did want to meet because him and all his comedians buddies were there, but I never got to meet him. He had his own security with him and stuff too. And also, usually I'm I leave people alone. I'm I don't want to bust your balls or get in your face because you're celebrity. That happens to you all day. You're chill. I don't need to have that happen. Not a big deal. But with Joe Rogan, because he hangs out with comedians all the time, I fucking love comedians so much that I just wanted to say hi to him. And also he started wearing a fur coat like mine right around the time.
Did he?
But not, he already started before that, but right around the time of that Karate Combat stuff, he started wearing a fur coat to kill Tony and wearing shades like this. And he's never seen my stuff. I know it's not because he saw me, but it's just a coincidence. He literally has a character he plays, or that he just hangs out looking just like me. And it's it's completely coincidental. But I was gonna go up to him and be "What's up, Joe? I'm your alter ego," and just be "What's up?" And he'd probably freak out and be "What the fuck's happening?" Whatever. Probably thought I was just some crazy person. But I like to just say hi to people sometimes because working at Karate Combat and doing stuff, it's just nice to have a little bit of a connection sometimes, with what they're doing.
Yeah, it was. It's so funny you say that. It's just I wanted to go to the Permissionless for a few different reasons, but I was really looking forward to go to Karate Combat. I thought that was so cool, and I come back. My wife's like, "What did you get out of your system?" I was like, "No, I want to go more. That was so fun. I want to go to another one."
Yeah, once you go to one,
sign me up.
Well, the excitement in the air, all the people around. I was in Utah. I was running around. I had hired my own local camera guy, and he had a big camera rig with him. So running around interviewing people, and I would just fuck with people. And even the CEO, Rob of Karate Combat, was annoyed as fuck with me because I was able to go up to people and be like, "Hey, are you Team Red or Team Blue?" and just ask these random ass questions. Because when people do vlogging and content, they're trying too hard in the wrong direction. They're always what's some serious thing I can ask somebody about? No one fucking cares, okay? No one cares about in a vlog, what's your deep opinion about Avalanche blockchain? Dude, they're not going to sit there and watch it. They want fun, exciting TikTok shit. You know what I mean? And they want there to be a theme and a vibe and a rhythm to it because they're clicking on it for fun. They're not clicking on it for a sit-down interview, right? And so I was running around annoying the fuck out of people. And most of them probably thought it was funny. But you got to you got to bring people out of their comfort zone for them to do anything. Otherwise, they kind of are boring. They have low energy. So I was running around doing that. And, it was a lot of fun to do that with people because, also there's a lot of the energy of machoism, everything. Everyone thinks they're so cool at Karate Combat and tough. And I like to, and dude, Rampage Jackson tried to take my fur coat, right? He was all "Yo, I like your coat." And he goes and he tries to take people's stuff or get their stuff from them all the time. This is a thing he's known for doing. He comes up to me, he's like, "Yo, I like your coat." And I was like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Doug." And I just talk to him he's lucky to talk to me, right? There's even footage of all this stuff. And then I come home and I found out AJ Writes Crypto, he did it to him and he got AJ's fucking vest. And I was like, "You little bitch." I was like, "Don't let Rampage take your shit." He's a bully. Get out of my face, Rampage.
Kong,
get out of here.
Let me reintroduce Kong to give him a minute. Kong, sexy mother trucker out of Florida. I mean, am I wrong for wanting to go back to Karate Combat? I mean, you were there. I mean, isn't it just the best thing ever?
Karate Combat's awesome, man. I love it. The vibe is fantastic. It's the something about the pit, man. The angles of the walls being right up on people. I loved it, man.
It's surreal. I really recommend if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, go check one out. It's so fun. Participate if you want, but I'd rather watch. I'm a watcher. How about you,
Blood to the mat. Come on.
Come on, Grady.
Yes. I love it.
I've got some more Grady stuff here. Let me see. Do I have a video? Maybe.
Filthy though. Hey, Filthy, you should put the link to my contest in here because if people guess right, they have a chance to be in the cartoon, in the series. If you guess who the person is.
It's in the private chat.
Let me move it over. Spoil alert. I have it on good authority that it's me. And if it's not me,
it does kind of look like you a little bit. It does.
My wife's like, it kind of looks like it kind of looks like a lot of people. I was like, no, but it's me. I know Doug. Doug wouldn't just do me like that. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that's fun too. I want there to be foreshadowing, but sorry, go ahead to back to your thing.
Let me see. Ban myself. How do I pin this shit? I think that pinned it. I'll figure it out. Kong, tell me more. What have you been up to? I'm gonna go pin this message in the meantime.
Dude, man, I've just been same old, man. Just grinding, you know. I've just been kind of chilling, man. I haven't been doing a whole lot. I've been kind of taking some time. I've been watching the number go up. You know, that's always good when the number go up. You know what amazes me is that there's not more, mania at 100K. It's like nobody even cares. As far as the price action, you know.
Well, the outside world made us even more of a villain now. They're like worried about it even more, you know.
I would just think with all the regulation coming, you know, finally that we finally getting the regulation in the next, year plus. So I would think that would
I'm waiting.
Only like BlackRock and like a couple others are even interested. Like we just said Microsoft. Isn't it weird that a huge tech company like Microsoft is going to say, "Nah, we're good"?
That's how they get you.
Getting in.
That's what they do, though. That's how they roll. They tell you it's the devil. Look away. Let me buy some first. Now it's cool. Now come buy some.
Yeah. That's exactly
how it works. That's just
dude,
how it
mass
works.
media is doing that. They're literally saying this is terrible. The government's talking about doing this, and this, blah, blah, blah. And they're just vilifying crypto even more.
Well, I get it when BlackRock was doing it while they were buying, and now that they've got a bunch, now they're saying everybody needs 2% in their portfolio, of course, because they've got a bunch. But I don't see why Microsoft under the table would be like, "No, we ain't getting none." You know,
but then they are. They're adding it to their balance sheet.
That's just strange to me, but I guess that's a big entity for you, right?
Question for you, Kong. If you're getting in today, crypto as a whole in general, you can pick your specific sort of tokens. If I get in today, am I late? Am I late to the game? Should I just not? Should I wait for Bitcoin to drop down to 20K?
I don't think it's going to go to 20K, but I think you're kind of late getting in Bitcoin right now. I mean, you could catch a little bit more upside, but I mean, Bitcoin dominance is finally starting to break for the first time in years. So, I think the signal has already flashed that you need to be rotating into something other than Bitcoin. I think Ethereum's undervalued, even though overall I think it's on the way out, but I still think it's undervalued where it is now, you know?
Yeah, it's so hard to know when to get in and out. It's this because you just literally Bitcoin, like, let's say Trump wants to make it a reserve currency, and other countries follow. It could go. It literally could go up to $1 million. It really could. Or we could literally have already topped, and it could just crash back down to 50 grand.
Isn't that
everything else?
But it's kind of stayed. We had a bunch of dips, and it went right back up. So I feel like this is kind of the median right now, a little bit, maybe. Yeah. And then we could potentially go up even more.
Yep. And then as far as altcoins go, some are going to pump. We're going to get the 100x gains and stuff. But like, when the hell do you know when to get in and out?
Dude,
is it weird to you?
You can literally lose 99.9%.
A lot of the gaming coins pumped even. Like, so many coins pumped. Yeah. The question is, are they going to keep pumping?
Right.
What's strange to me is it's last cycle stuff pumping. You know what I mean, Grady? They always say
they
always say this stuff dies.
If a coin isn't pumping right now, it's because somebody's selling a ton of it because everything's been pumping. So the only way because all the liquidity pairs, you know, if something 3x's and the main liquidity token that you want to buy is with that token that 3x and it didn't at least like 2x, then, you know, how is that price being suppressed? Because it sells and evens out the pool, you know? And so that's where it's hard to trust anything. It's hard to trust anybody. Don't trust anybody at all, ever. Don't ever
listen to us, don't listen to him or them. Don't listen to nobody.
Yeah, dude, NFA. But let me say,
I had gaming coins I thought were kind of gonna die out, or like Wilder World I was holding on to, and it was just going down. And even during the election, nothing happened. Then all of a sudden, this last week, it 5x'd.
Yeah, like 5x that type of thing.
Like what? And
I
was
still have my
holding it.
Wilder
I was
World,
like,
by the way. I still have that on the Binance Smart Chain. I can't get it. They just won't respond to me. It's like,
so it's weird.
Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff. Like takes months. Kong told me about this new app, and it just like detected a whole bunch of crypto that I didn't even know.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Out like tens of thousands of dollars worth. Actually, seriously.
Isn't that crazy, Doug?
Holy shit! And so
it's like, what the fuck?
Seriously,
what the fuck is it? Tell me.
Well,
it's just a Rabby wallet, man.
Rabby wallet. Rabby wallet's where it's at.
Yeah. Like all these, I just don't trust anybody, any of these developers. I don't trust any of the influencers. I don't trust the news, any news at all. I don't, because they're it's like, you just got to be careful.
Got an agenda.
It's like the longer you've been in crypto, the more you're like that, though. It seems like, Grady, from what I've seen, like the OGs are like that. You know, you're like that now. I don't know. It just seems like there's a progression there.
Yeah, because the good dudes with the heart and the vision and the passion, they're mostly washed out. That's what worried me. And then all of a sudden, thank God I didn't sell all of it out, because I was like about to.
Yeah, this regulation is gonna hopefully pivot.
Yeah, and
that should be interesting. That that's an interesting catalyst we've not seen in years past. I mean, I don't recall conversations whatsoever about just even the positive sentiment within the new administration, where it's like, I heard, I don't know how true this is, but I heard some who's the oh my god, Carl Hodgkinson, what's his name? Charles, yes.
Yep.
I heard he's being tied, maybe being pegged as a crypto ambassador in the
he's gone to Congress before. That's his talent. He's an orator. He can go in and
talk about a coin I thought was dead, right? I mean, don't sleep on it.
It all depends on your connections now. We got RFK hanging out there and a lot of people in connections. So now Charles Hoskins, all these people are starting to get called up by, depending on who's connected to who, they're calling people up and be like, hey, do you want to be an advisor or whatever? So he's one of those people, when he's a pretty good dude, I think.
Yeah. RFK.
No, I mean Charles Hoskinson.
Oh, Charles Hoskinson.
When you hear him talk, he sounds like a really good guy. He cares about people and about doing the right thing and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched him since 2016, and I really watched him back then. And he's a good orator, that's for sure. So he's so good that's his gift. And so he does need to be in Congress, talking crypto. He's your guy you want in Congress talking crypto for sure.
I was gonna make a joke and say I'm good at oral too, but then I felt uncomfortable saying that out loud. So
Clip
orator.
But do I trust him? I don't.
Well, everyone thinks that they're right, but nobody's actually right. So like you have to take Brady, right? You take information from like hundreds of different sources and then make your own decisions.
Especially with news and stuff, you cannot just listen to something and then see a short clip of a video and take it at face value. I see it every day with both Fox, and I've seen it.
Unless it's animated, then it's true. If it looks like this,
yes,
then it's completely true.
And so because they have, you can tell they have like their little agendas they're trying to push, right? And so,
well, they're also trying to sound important and smart so that you'll keep listening to them and treat them as important, right?
Yeah, and it's like they're trying to get you outraged and pissed off, and you just go back for more. And so you just have to be careful. But it's the same with crypto. It's the same with anything. It's so weird. So I almost, picked up fantasy football for the channel. I was getting in with all the fantasy football guys. I was real deep with the simulators and daily fantasy best. I did over like 2,500 drafts of best ball.
Wow.
Yeah,
for best ball. Wow.
Yeah, and I've got lots of teams in the playoffs going, and then it's like
in very true Grady fashion. It's you either go don't go in or you deep dive. There's no
total
middle.
manic. I am hot.
Grady just like a walk in the park, or Grady just a casual day is like, let's do 2,600.
Yeah, dude, I see. You know how to show you the bar across the bottom of all your matches and where you are. Like you couldn't even see his bar because there was so many matches just lined up.
Yeah, so I mean, I was like total manic out on whatever it is I do, and so, and I realized, like, man, the influencer space is so weird. It's no different in the fantasy football influencer space. It's like.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this: Can you have good people in I was gonna say crypto, but just generalize it, just content creators? Can content creators be legitimate good people? I mean, because I at one point I wanted to believe it, and I've always said I want to be the good guy, right? But I mean, let's be real. I mean, is that a thing?
There are some out there, but you have to find them on your own. Like I found a guy that does military stuff today that just I can't stop watching his stuff. He's so good and smart and funny, right? He's called like the Fat Electrician or some random shit. And I'm obsessed with his content. He's so good and amazing. But does he come up in my algorithm? No. I had to go like find this stuff. Mr. Beast, everyone thinks Mr. Beast is such a good guy and a big deal. You find out behind the scenes he's a total dickbag, right? He like he fakes half of his contests, he sets it all up, like it's all half of it's bullshit, right? Because he's so driven. This is a thing in storytelling. There's always a goal that you have in like your life or whatever's going on. You have to think about what is this person or content creator's goal? Is their goal to just make good content, or is their goal to get views? Is their goal to make a ton of money? You got to figure out what their goal is, right?
Their goal, they're business people. They're trying to get maximum views and clicks and get big partnerships, sponsorships for their channel. So it's a business. Very few out there. Is it truly a passion or a conviction?
But some of them know the long run will be good if they just make good content and connect the community, right? Some of them can do that.
So I've been a huge proponent. I will never be able, even if I want to divert from this, is that if you follow the golden rule and not be money driven, but look out for the best interests of others over your own best interests, even, and you're legit, you build trust, you build a reputation, and you're not looking at this 5 minutes in front of your face trying to make a quick buck. You're thinking long term. That's the key to success. Well, I mean, that has been put to the test hard in my world. So it's because it's just, you're going to get eaten up and chewed up and spit out. And so you kind of have to like just keep a big distance, but it's hard to keep a big distance. It works to your advantage to get in, right, with the people and collaborate. And then that's how you get more exposure for your channel. But when you do that, sometimes you got to make a deal with the devil. Right. And so it's like, I just can't, even if I wanted to. So,
it's funny to think about how you sort of take off or make anything of yourself in the space. Because I've met people who are like, I want to be a YouTuber because I want to be filthy rich and McNasty and make a lot of money. And it's like, good luck. I mean, it's incredibly difficult. What drives you, right, is different than what drives me. What drives me is let's get together, let's have fun. And if 51 people show up across a few different platforms. Thank you very much for watching. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. If you, God damn it, I lost one of them. Son of a bitch, come back to me. But if you want to come hang out and just shoot the shit, why not? I mean, have fun. I don't know. At the end of the day, for me, what drives me is just having a good time chatting with people. I don't know, Doug. I mean, you've gone sort of you're knee deep in all this.
I have a whole thing about this. I'll tell you right now. If you look at Web3 gaming, 6 months ago, a year ago, they were like, "Oh, if you're a content creator, just stick to gaming. Don't talk about coins." Because meme coins and NFTs just felt kind of scammy. But then when they start pumping, all of a sudden, half of the Web3 content creator gamer people, like that, especially prominent ones, start talking about coins nonstop. And the thing is that nobody said nothing. They weren't like, "Oh, you can't do that," because these people had already become like kind of prominent and kind of well known and a follower. So everyone becomes a little bitch and won't say nothing like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." Then it just becomes a cool thing to do. And they're now like everyone's like talking about coins. And I'm not saying coins are bad, but if you're going to be a content creator talking about gaming and trying to promote the gaming aspect of it, the coin stuff makes a weird conflict because it's hard to separate the two when you bring it together versus like the aspects of what's going on, right? And it becomes very confusing. And not to judge anybody, but there's a lot of people, because I study this and I just watch everyone's stuff. There's a lot of people that there's a thing. You can work hard and get a lot of information and be very informed and give people a lot of good information quickly and concisely and be very good at it. And that by itself makes you probably pretty prominent and from a lot of different sources. If you know lots of games and lots of things, because people want alpha so they can make decisions and mostly they care about that because they want to see if the game's going to maybe potentially pop off so they can buy NFTs and get coins. And they kind of want to have a game that's fun to play too, but the general populace cares more about kind of that stuff. So it becomes very weird. So the people that just stick to just talking about gaming, like Icy, Stam Stefanita, the people that like cover all the games and stuff, those are my homies because they're only just doing content most of the time, but they still push into that side of the field more than I personally would. You know what I mean? Like I personally am like, I'm just here to talk about culture, gaming, and cool shit. I can talk about the coins, but I'm not going to be like, "Oh, this coin's going to pump or you should buy it right now." I ain't going to tell you to do any of that stuff. Never will, never can. I can't, because it's like, to me, that's just guessing. And then you get into this like difficult thing of like, whatever it is. And my brand for who I am, if I go to companies and say like, I'm about promoting your brand, I would feel like I was lying if I was just going around talking about coins pumping all the time. Now, if my brand was like talking about coins, that's totally fine. But that's, for me, as a content creator, you have to figure out your brand and what you care about and who you are. And then you can be honest about what you do because they understand your motivation and what you're trying to talk about, what's important. But if you're just anything that comes by that seems important that people might want to hear about just to get clicks, if you're doing that, I would be so in a whirlwind of not knowing who I was or what I was doing. And that's just, for me, I think, a way to explain why it becomes confusing and hard. Because look at, on one hand, Logan Paul is out doing WWE wrestling, and that's really cool, and he became good at it fast, and everyone's like, "Wow, great job," and he does a great job. On the other hand, he's doing weird crypto scams, right? On one hand, Haktua Girl seems like a really sweet girl, super nice to everyone, treats everyone great. Then she does a crypto scam, and you're just like, "What the fuck are people doing, bro?"
Was it her that did that rug pull?
She had a team around her.
It wasn't a rug. It was a
no. It was.
Was it?
It was 100% a rug. I'll tell you right now.
I thought it was a total rug. That's what I heard, but I never confirmed it. See, I saw it.
CoffeeZilla did a whole video about it. There's a whole. We had a whole Twitter space. What they did was the people around her, they sold off a ton of the coin to people really cheap right away, like tons of it. And then from the main account, they paid them all out, which is a huge amount. And then they all dumped on everyone, and the coin went from like, $1 billion market cap or $500 million to like almost nothing within like an hour.
I got it.
So she didn't do that and profit.
She herself was not the person pulling the strings. It was the team that was put around her by whoever. And
she was the puppet.
They all, there's connections to the Logan and Jake Paul group all within this stuff. They're all connected. They actually manage her on the side in some ways. So there's all these weird connections, or she doesn't even know what's happening. She's just kind of like hanging out.
I've heard both sides. I've heard, obviously the Logan Jake Paul thing, they get accused of being the rug, but I've also heard they didn't make any money. They themselves didn't rug it. They didn't profit off it.
Well, that
was my
they
understanding.
them
I don't
they
know.
them-
that
There's
for
they
sure.
themselves
full
didn't
proof.
put the
There's
button.
full proof that there were hundreds of influencers that they gave the money to, the coins and all these other things, and those people just fucking sold the whole thing and it just went to zero.
Okay.
I've got an exclusive Hawk Tuah interview.
Okay.
Oh, good.
You gotta give him that Hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
That was a good one.
All right.
Savvy words
In the
of wisdom.
pit. In the
Got
pit.
okay. Case closed. She's
Well,
good.
also the people around her, people came out and said that they were rug pullers, that they knew him from previous projects, and they were complete scam artists.
Yeah, they were the ones lying about her.
And
And that'll get
they have
straight.
connections to Hollywood. The Doc Hollywood guy, he's like the nephew
Yeah.
of like Johnny Depp or somebody.
Yeah,
They're all
that's what I
Hollywood
was
people.
gonna
And
ask.
see, that's the problem with our information today because I didn't even know who she was. My son sent me a video. I didn't know she was the third largest podcaster in the world.
It happened overnight.
Yeah,
Like
and
it came
but
out of
then
nowhere because of
all I
Logan
saw
Paul's. They set
on
her
my
up
feed-
with like Mark Cuban interviews, and they sent like A-list celebrities for her to interview. Like
Yeah,
those people would never have gone to Hawk Tuah's podcast on their own. It was
I
all the
wondering
Logan Paul,
why
Jake
Mark
Paul
Cuban
like
was on their
people.
podcast. I was
So-
like,
so-
what the hell?
So fun story. I heard from someone. I won't divulge names, but I heard from someone. She was at one of the KC events, and they approached her about being in a fight. I was like, hey, would you fight so and so? And allegedly she said yes, but I think it was 600K. It was some ridiculous number. She's like, I know my worth. That's what I'm worth. And it's like, fucking A, 600K, 500K. Like,
Dude,
I-
she's probably made that much money in the last 6 months.
You
Yeah.
got to give
Oh,
it to
easy.
her PR team, man. Whoever's, you know, they're doing their job.
They are. And
milked
the thing
those
is, she doesn't
15
even know
minutes.
what's going on around her. She's just like, okay, I'll just show up, you know.
yeah.
Where do I sign? Make me famous.
She did do things to help animals. She does a lot of charity for animals. So I
I have
don't
a
hate her.
name. I have a name, Doug.
Allegedly, she does that.
Allegedly.
I mean, she puts it out there and tells us that's what.
Yeah,
she
the only thing she puts out, Grady, let me tell you.
I'll tell you,
is,
literally cannot believe anything.
Well, and it's funny you say that because for the longest time I would say trust but verify. I feel like that for me it's changed to distrust but verify.
Right.
Especially in this space, and you're not hating on anyone, but it's just you just don't know.
You have to have a
so-
long track record of information, right? You need
Yeah,
a lot of
track
plot
record.
points, right?
Yeah.
Like fantasy
reputation, track
football.
record.
If
There's
you
the
if you
thing-
took a fantasy football, extrapolated out to a bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, the last 3 weeks, this guy's been doing great, but what has he done the last 2 years, right? Like you have to take all these data points.
Well, and with fantasy football, you look at matchups, you look at several different things. But speaking of fantasy football, there's a guy I was helping a little bit. Coach Speak Index. Coach Speak Index. He has an index of the accuracy of coaches. So if a coach says we're optimistic that Joe Blow will play on Sunday, okay, he'll keep track of that and have a rating on each coach.
That's
I
fucking
used
Black
to do
Ops
those
level
same
shit.
type of things. I didn't document it like he does, super organized. And
Yeah.
so, like, this coach has a 95% reliability rating. This other coach has a 45% reliability rating. I used to do that with media pundits. I mean, for years. I was like full time, practically for a time, researching all this, and my mind was blown. And I've done that with politicians. I've done that with news, media outlets. And
Grady, let me hit you with this one, Grady, because I think
Yeah.
you might be proud of me. I used to be in a very intense fantasy baseball league, and I say intense for me because I was the only one. I was the only mother trucker who really gave it his all. But fantasy baseball is built a bit different.
Oh, yeah.
I would do. What's the weather like? What's the pitcher?
oh my gosh, you got to have your weather
What's
app.
the dew point? What's humidity like in Colorado
That's
today?
right.
It's like it was wild.
You got to have your weather deal. There's a specific one you want to follow. If it's yellow, it's okay. If it's red, or I forget the different colors, and fantasy baseball is a totally different animal. It's-
Talk about masochist.
Well, there's also this theory that I talk about a lot where like the thing is the only way you can have trust with somebody is if you have the same goal, right? So the idea is that like if your goal is to play a fun game and the other person's goal is to make money, obviously they're not going to make decisions like you do. So like whatever they
Right.
say, It might sound good, but it's not going to be from the right perspective. You've got to have like the same goal in place to be able to trust somebody in business or whatever. If their goal is only for them to specifically themselves be successful, but also your goal is only for you to be successful, at least then you can like have an understanding of things, right? The problem is when things you give people trust just because you see a glimmer of trust in them that you can have, but they can't even trust themselves, right? They don't even know what the fuck they're gonna do.
Let me hit you with this, Kong. Can you fault the person, the content creator of anything, crypto, sports, politics, whatever? Can you fault that content creator for wanting to make money, but making money off of the backs of their viewers at the potential detriment of their viewers? I know we were talking about potential scammers, some of these meme coins, right, in general. But I mean, can you fault someone for wanting to make a dime? If what they tell you, because I've heard this narrative, I there's a conviction. I believe in the project, and sometimes you do believe. I myself have believed in projects before, and I've talked about certain projects in the past, and it's maybe not turned out so well. We won't go there, but can you fault someone for talking about a project because they want to make money and that's all they want to do? That's all they want to do. They just want to make money, and be damn anyone who buys into that project, because at the end of the day, I'm getting paid and I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, I mean, this day and age, unfortunately, man, I would have to say you can't blame that person, because you've got to go into it knowing that, and if you don't, you're going to probably get burned. But the default nowadays is, people looking out for themselves and not really their viewers or their audience, and if you go into it thinking any other way, you're going to get burned. I think you can't fault the person, because the reason they're on, you have to assume by default, is to get paid. And that's the only reason. And when it's not like that for Grady, for example, or Doug Hype, there's two exceptions, or you as well. You're doing it because of the passion, but I always think it's, what's this person trying to get out of it first when I'm watching, when I'm digesting stuff,
Yeah, and
I'm very cautious.
Is the conviction real? Is it really there? So it's like a gray area thing, and that's why, like the Coach Speak Index, you just have to, some people you don't want to listen to about certain things, but they might kind of have a good thing to listen to, but you just have to be super careful. And yeah, so I'm with you. I don't trust anybody, but as I've, like, for example, with media pundits, I've been watching them for over a decade. I mean, and like closely. So I know a lot of these people, like I know them, and I've watched them do some questionable things. And so you know that, like, okay, maybe this person's got a 90% reliability rating, but you still have to be careful. That other 10% can really muddy things up real fast.
And who come up to that reliability rating, right? Reliability,
you have to do it yourself,
different than you. And
right.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah,
you got to do it yourself. You're
right. And then also people doing the fact checking, you can't trust that. So, unless you examine it thoroughly and like solidify it yourself, you just can't. So that's where
the more people seem certain in any of their opinions, the more they're usually wrong, right? Because people don't know what they don't know. They could be speaking out of ignorance and only what they have seen. It doesn't mean they have any idea what the hell they're talking about, right?
They're faking it till they make it. Yeah, I mean,
usually the people I like to connect to easily are the ones that they always themselves assume that themselves can probably be wrong. They never say like, hey, this is for sure, or this is what I think. I think this strongly, but you should whatever. Like there's that general sentiment of like somebody learning along with you and not just being like, I know all the things, I'm always right. That's like you talked about BitBoy and Ben earlier. When I hang out and I'm around him, his energy and how he acts, there's nothing for me to connect to. Like he's just always right. He's always the best. He's always whatever. And that's fine. Totally cool. But when I see him, I just nod my head and hey, what's up? And that's it. There's no human connection there, right? Now, other people might have a great connection with him. I just can't be around people that are just definitive. I know everything and all the answers to everything.
I know nothing. That's a fact. Grady, Doug, I have to ask the two of you because you guys are very well. You've gone knee deep with a lot of different content creators, the space in general, and just as a whole life experience. It's sort of maybe a unique perspective that many of us watching, sort of certainly on my side of things, I don't necessarily have. I mean, what are you looking for in a content creator to say, hey, you know what? You're legit, you're a good dude, and you mean well? Because and you guys come at it from a different perspective. Doug, I'm sure you've had the opportunity to wine and dine and have a good time with a lot of people, and you can tell, the bullshitters from the people who are honest, and I'm sure you can too, Grady. What kind of tips can you share with people here listening, watching?
I have a great tip. All right. I know all the tips. If you need tips, come right to me.
He's got the best tips.
This. All right.
Best tips.
This is how I feel. I just feel that way.
Only.
Though. This is just an opinion. There's not advice, financial advice. Go out and just meet lots of people and be kind to them, and think of it like this, like I think about experience and just life experience level. Like if people around me and they're a content creator or not, or whatever, I'm like, cool, whatever. If you're a content creator, it gets me excited. I'm like, I want to support you. That's cool. All right. That's awesome. Right. But I don't immediately go like, is this person going to be my friend? Do I like them? I don't even think about that stuff. I'm just like, I want to hang out, and whoever I connect to and whoever is going to be my friend or whatever, that's fine. That's cool. But I think of experience levels. And also I have been doing filmmaking and content creation for like 20 plus years. Most of the people I'm around have been doing it for like a couple years. So like I have so much experience in it. They might even be amazing and like way genius level and way better than me at something or whatever. But I found across the board, nobody really has any fucking clue what they're doing. Even me, who's done it for 25 years. I mean, even 20 years ago, I made hit shit on YouTube, right? I still feel like I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing half the time, right? So just think of it as like a fun club, and if they're fun and you like being around them, you think they're fucking hilarious and just fun people, that's awesome. Otherwise, like, good luck, buddy, and like cool or whatever. I always say I'll be everyone's friend. Grady, I think you and I have this in common. We're like, we want to be everyone's buddy. But it's more about the energy we're putting out there. It doesn't mean we have the energy and time to really be everyone's friend, but it's that invitation and opening to people. Yeah. And even just now, dude, every day I'm in chats, all these different chats where people have no idea who I am half the time, and they're like trying to be a content creator, do whatever their life, and they feel down. They're like, I don't feel connected. All these people seem so full of themselves, and I'm always immediately like commenting like, well, you just made a friend right now, buddy. And I would put a picture of me in my cartoon, and they'd be like, who are you? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'll just be your friend, man. I just want them to feel support. I want them to feel like people give a fuck, because we do. Deep down, everyone really does care.
Oh, we
people
do,
are just blocking it off, right? So, and because even someone doing that to you or to me, or like even today, someone called me and made me feel awesome, and I was like, dude, that changed my whole day, changed my whole perspective, right? But so we can do that. We above all people who should be able to just connect to people and be cool with them and be chill. Look at Pat McAfee. He's running around giving kids $400,000, $500,000, like donating to high schools. Everywhere he goes, he's trying to find ways to lighten up, bring up other people all the time. And even though he's not showing it, he's constantly trying to uplift other people, the people on his show. He's such, like, people might think of him as kind of this egomaniacal guy a little bit, but he's always putting his energy into uplifting other people. And he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't make it a thing to tell you about it. He's almost too embarrassed, I think, to even say it, because he's got that old school farm boy mentality where he's like, this is just what you do. You take care of the people around you, and you just, you care about them. And so I think those are the things that are so fucking cool when you do see that, because usually that takes a little time. It's subtle shit. You know what I mean? It's not the stuff that's in your face. And then you go, like, you realize, like, whoa, dude, that person did something really fucking cool. Like, wow, I'm going to, like the list you're talking about, Grady, I'm going to put that in my fucking list, like on the really fucking top level list. That's fucking cool, man. And then later you can have something cool to talk about and be like, that was so dope that you did that. People get blown away when you do that to them and notice things that are not like super obvious, right? Keep doing shit like that and telling everyone to fuck off. That's not fucking in your vibe. Like, who cares, right?
That's right.
Just do it. And you guys are a great inspiration for that. Everybody here is.
We try, Grady.
I appreciate, Doug, everything you just said is right on. I appreciate it. I'm going to come at it with a little bit of a different angle, but I would say follow Doug's advice. Your headspace will be a lot better. I used to be at a place where I thought, hey, people, like, for example, I look at CZ Now I'm sure he's done things wrong, but when it
Haven't
really,
we all?
when the rubber met the road, I mean, for years, I was really following him close, and he would always do the right thing. So he always did what's best for his community, for his customers, and had a long-term view. And everybody has always like demonized him. He's just an example. I used to have guys that I looked at like that I thought were solid. I've kind of like got lost where I don't have anybody that I can look at and really trust. Even if someone hits me up to make me feel good. For example, that example you just gave, Doug, I've experienced a lot of people doing that for their own gain. They're just trying to sneak in, okay, and try to buddy me and things like that.
It's a little bit more politics involved or something.
Yeah, and really they're literally wolves in sheep's clothing. So I've experienced a lot.
You put those people in different category, and you're just like, hey, they're maybe not bad people, but they're just, I don't know, I question their motivation a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, and it's like I just don't even. So
it's
kind of
because that's part of some people that's just part of their work and their game, and it's not like a moral choice. It's just, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It could be super evil and sinister what they're doing, but it might be what you just said too. I mean, most of the time, it's probably what you just said.
For the business world, it's not great, but it's like just kind of annoying, maybe. Or
right. Sure. And so,
but you gotta balance things out by surrounding yourself with people who aren't just yes people. You gotta surround yourself with some naysayers, because oftentimes what ends up happening is you get into the echo chamber and everything's
a really good point.
And everything's like, yeah, let's
you need
go.
People that will be fucking like rough with you, like tough love, even almost.
Oh
right?
yeah. I surround myself with those people too, and I've been told, hey, don't talk to those people. Those people are toxic. It's like maybe they're not, intentionally trying. Maybe they are toxic, but you know what? They bring a difference of opinion, and rightly or wrongly, I need to hear them out, because otherwise I've got my head in my ass, and you F everyone else, right? But sometimes you just have to hear different opinions, and it just kind of makes you think different things. Are things going to change for you? Not necessarily, not always, but they can, or at the very least, it might provide you with a different perspective.
You have to look at all our family members that think crypto is the devil or not good, and I think I kind of enjoy that. I'm kind of enjoy going to Thanksgiving and be like, they're going to razz me about crypto, and I just laugh because it's like I know they're not blowing smoke up on my ass. They're not kissing my ass. They're giving me a hard time. They're taking the piss out of me.
Kong, am I wrong? Am I the bad guy? I've got to ask you an honest question. Am I the bad guy? Right before the election, I had a good friend of mine who just came out of a pretty gnarly divorce, and she reached out to me. She's like, hey, sort of trying to pick brain, trying to sort of see where I can put my money in. She had a sizable amount of money, and she was asking for financial advice, and I didn't mention Bitcoin. This is pre-election. Things have changed drastically since then, and I feel bad for not having mentioned that as an option, because I was afraid she was going to look at me like a dumbass, or like Bitcoin with this guy,
right? Or she ends up buying the Bitcoin and it crashes.
And it crashes, right?
But you didn't know that was going to happen, though. You can't judge yourself that way. It could have. You could have ruined your whole financial future, and Bitcoin could have crashed. Something could have happened in the world to ruin the economy for a couple of days, and you know what I mean. So
you're not a dumbass at all. I wouldn't have mentioned it. The days of me mentioning it to people are long gone. Everybody gets crypto at the price they're supposed to get it at.
Yes, they get it.
That's simple.
You're rewarding. If you're interested and want to know, we're here to talk to you, but we're not going to go around knocking on doors too much.
Right. Yeah.
Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Bitcoin?
Dude, when I got off the plane in Utah.
Appreciate it, Kong. I love you, man.
Love you, Kong.
Oh, sorry, Kong. See you later.
So good to see you guys, man.
Love you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Kong, as you leave, I'm going to talk about you for a second.
I love y'all, man. We'll see you on the next one. Let's do it again, Sarge.
Let's do it.
Doug Hype, love you. Grady, love you.
We're called the Millionaires Club. We all made at least $2 off Bitcoin, right? We're super.
Yeah. So back to even the topic that we're talking about, Sarge, is that Kong hits me up out of the blue one day. I don't know, a year and a half ago or whenever it was, and just like wanted to help. Didn't ask for anything. I kind of put him to the test a little bit. He was never out for his own personal gain. So for me, that's the number one thing I look at. Now, if they're honest that they are out for their personal gain, that's great too. So honesty, I'll work with all day long. But as far as like somebody that gets the vision that I'm always trying to put out there, that's kind of been beat down, okay, is the golden rule being the key to success in life and business and relationships. And my mindset is still to this day, if a crypto project just got this and didn't, and could just simple things, not just be able to look beyond the 5 minutes in front of their face and think long term, they would just take over. They'd be a top 20 project like that, especially when there's all the utility but there's weird stuff going on. That's why there's just weird stuff that goes on. You can't trust anything.
And I think a big part of that,
my like conclusion.
A big part of that is we're all learning all the time, and there's always revelations being like, oh man, 2 months ago we did something crazy. We thought it was going to do this and it did that. So we're all kind of learning and growing together to understand even what the fuck we're doing. Like the whole crypto thing, everything. My opinion on stuff changes all the time depending on like what's going on. Like, because you have new information and stuff, and I think the key is to always just focus on long term. I even struggle with this when I buy a bunch of coins and make money off of it. My brain starts changing. And I feel like a different person. We're like, what am I? Because your goals start changing. You're like, oh, maybe I should do this thing over here. And I'm like, wait, what is actually going to make me happy? What's actually going to fulfill me and make me feel good as a person, as opposed to like just focusing on money, right? Like, so that scares me. Where like, I know we all go through that of like, how do we do all these things and how do we balance it?
Yeah.
And how do we put like our whatever it's hard as fuck for me to do. So I can only imagine that we all on some level have to deal with this. And so we got to treat people with kindness and be like, look, I don't hate someone for thinking different than me, or even if I think they're scammy or whatever. I just have to realize what their goals are and how they operate, and being like, that doesn't align with me, but just hope that people learn, because some of them do and get better. And we've seen that with like Pudgy Penguins and people in crypto that have a background in being scammy as fuck. And now they seem to be doing better, maybe they're making better decisions. Maybe they're doing a little bit better.
Yeah. So, and I do see that. So some people are just kind of shady, but for the most part, they're okay. And so it's hard for me to like, so I'm always exercising restraint. That's why I just disappear, because
it's important.
I'm afraid of myself. It gets vicious when you see the real me ever come out, which you hopefully never will. It's just like the hammer's being dropped, and it's probably not
like Thor. You got Mojahar, the hammer.
Yeah, it's probably not good but when it really is needed, yes, then it's good.
For good,
there's things we just don't know or understand. And most of the time when you go too hard and too far, it's like,
also think about it this way. The people that are only focusing on money and making money maybe off other people, or maybe not being fully scammy, but that range of being just kind of like irresponsible to like
gray,
like plausible deniability, because you're just like, don't give a fuck. There's that range. But I think of it this way. Those people, I feel bad for them because they don't have other value things they think they can bring to the table that are valuable to them and can make them money or do things in good ways. They feel just so empty and like not valuable or helpful that that's what they have to focus on.
Yeah.
So they're coming from a place of pain and suffering. And I just think about like, dude, I get to feel, I want to grab onto that energy, being happy and being like, oh, I'm doing something cool and I'm making income from it. And like, they might be making bad decisions. I want to focus on making good decisions.
Yeah. And so to be successful, you have to find a niche that is needed, that people want, that's clear. And you have to have a vision and a passion for it and a grind.
Yeah.
And so
I'll tell you this much, Grady and Doug. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Grady. I think what really makes the two of you, and and maybe me to a very minor extent, what makes the two of you very unique in this space, that overall, and Doug, I get it. You do the glasses, the fur coat. It's part of the look. I get it. It's hot. It's sexy. I love it. But you guys are real as fuck, and I think that's what people sometimes don't understand. In a space that can be super fake as fuck, you guys are two down to earth people, and I've had the pleasure and the opportunity to talk to you guys offline, hang out in person with the two of you. You know, I can say that, and you guys are real, and that's what's really hard to find in the space. Can you monetize it? I think you can. I think you really can.
So to answer the question, if you're following those core values that are truly core, then make money that doesn't step outside of the core values. Sure. I'm all for, if I'm watching my favorite podcast or something, which I don't even know if I have, there's a couple dudes I like, you know, but, and it's like, if they have those core values, I want them to make money. There's nothing wrong with it. But when I feel like clickbait stuff that's kind of sleazy, and there's a lot of stuff, you know, once I'm like at a point now where I just don't have patience for it. If I see a clickbait, I click it, and it was just for the damn click, and there's no substance there, or it's kind of misleading, and I'm just like, I'm done, unsubscribe, or at least turn off the alerts.
You know, I see people that get successful, like Pat McAfee, that makes tons of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes hard for him to even struggle, because he's got to keep up all this energy and popularity and fun. Right. So I think sometimes even he goes beyond what he would normally think is cool to do, because he's just doing it all day long. It's gonna he's not gonna be perfect, right? And that's okay. Yeah. But then I kind of question a little bit of like, what's he doing? Then I see him on TV, and he'll just start giving shit away to people like crazy. It's almost like he feels so guilty for making all this money, right? He's like having kids do kicks before the games to win like $200,000. He's like, you know what? Let's do it again. You missed. Let's do it now for like $600,000. He's just fucking throwing money away like crazy to these people. And then they make the kick and they're freaking out. And he's happy because he's like, you know, I mean, he just feels guilty for making all this money, and he wants to actually do something valuable. Like he cares about the shit he does. He does wrestling broadcasting because he loves it. He's obsessed with it. He loves it so much, right?
And that's why he's big. That's why people love him.
He loves doing what he
does.
Same
with Mr. Beast. I mean, just that's how he got big.
Joe Rogan's real as fuck.
Yep.
You don't have to like what he says. You don't have to like or agree with him, but he doesn't give a fuck.
And he gives an open opportunity for anybody to show up and talk.
Everyone.
Theo Von, same thing. Theo Von's a great example of this, right?
Absolutely.
You just feel so he's real and just
he's
funny
real
and just a real dude, right?
And he doesn't care if you're going to look down on him.
He doesn't care if you think differently than him or whatever. You could be black, red, blue. It does not matter who the fuck you are. He's like, I'm going to be cool with you. He has, you know, Bernie Sanders on, Trump, whatever. And he's like, yeah, G, what's up, man? They're just like you're just a person.
Yeah. And has real.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah. So
right? No political angle, nothing.
Right.
And everyone seems so cool when they're on this show, right?
Right.
Because he puts them in that good spot.
They relax.
They're in a good spot.
Themselves.
They don't need to worry about being funny. Theo will be funny the whole time.
I don't know, Doug.
I say into something funny.
I agree with everything you're saying, but the piece I will disagree with you is the no political angle statement. Not because I don't think they have political angles, but I think we live in an age where everything you say is politicized in one form or another. I mean, our conversation today, I'm sure by someone can be poked and prodded and sort of torn apart and say that's political because XYZ. Look at these degenerate crypto people talking about whatever, right? I think the world's a much better place when we sort of put aside our differences and say, hey, you know what, let's just hear each other out. I might disagree with you.
Sure.
You know, it's a good.
But let's hear each other out.
You know, it's a good metaphor for that. So, like, I watch some of these podcasts about wrestling because I like pro wrestling. It inspires me too, right? The characters and stuff. I've even got some of my ideas from them. And one of them, I think, is Stevie Richards. And he talks a lot about behind the scenes where it's like there's your buddies, but then there's a political aspect to things too. And certain people were more politically serious in like D-Generation X, Shawn Michaels, all those guys were super serious political wise. Like they wanted to figure out how to get their power into place. But separate from that, if you're just hanging out with them, they're a great dude, just fun guys to be around. But certain people are not political at all. And they're like, I'm just here to be your buddy. I don't give a shit about politics. I'm just going to be cool to you and be a fucking awesome guy. Right. So there's a spectrum of stuff. And it's just a good example to give in a working space where you're trying to get, and that's similar to being a content creator, getting popularity, getting over the crowd, all these different things, political stuff going on. But there's people that you could be cool with and it's fine, but their politicalness and trying to get ahead in life is a little bit ahead of being your buddy. But there's also people that were really good friends where he's like, sometimes they wouldn't sit with me at the lunch. They would sit with the other popular people because they're trying to get in with them to get a more prominent role somewhere. And he's like, that's totally fine, because that's just them trying to improve their workspace possibilities. And we can still be friends, and he can even not sit with me at lunch, even though when he probably kind of should. Like, it's okay. And he's very self-conscious about just knowing that's how the business is, and he doesn't hold it against them. They can still be great buddies and everything, you know, it's cool. So I think if we look at life like that, there's that spectrum of it. And then there's people that are too serious and not actually cool. And it's just, you know what I mean? They're not your friends at all. So I think we need to be able to just meet people where they are, wherever you're at, right? And be like, hey, that's cool, however you are. It might not work with me great, but fucking go, whatever. Go for your thing.
And there are times to break out the pit bull. Like, if Hitler is in power for real, killing millions of people, you know, there is lines to draw. But most of the time when we take it that far, my experience, it's wrong. And so that's where I'm always like, I gotta hold back all the time.
I think America, we're kind of good at that, though. A lot of places in the world are overly religious or overly this way, whatever it is. They think a certain way, and that's the only way it's got to be. Even like Scandinavia is super social, or Russia's a certain way. Everybody seems to have their own thing. In America, I think is a great place. And other countries might be like this too, where we're just like, every idea is wrong. Fuck all this ideas. You know, everyone, but it's okay to think differently, right?
I agree with you.
Oh,
except
I mean, I
for
hope
this.
that I would. That's like the shiny version of it.
I don't know, Doug. I don't know, Doug. I'm gonna argue and say that we care. We don't care for things that we probably should care about, but we care too fucking much about the things that don't give a. They don't matter. They don't matter. That dress, you know, blue or not. Like, I mean,
but that's a good thing though, because we need drama in our lives, right? Like the Roman Coliseum, NFL football. We found ways to make things socially acceptable where they don't hurt anybody, but get those things we need. You know what I mean? Those activities and stuff that we need in life. So we argue about a dress being like black or blue or whatever instead of like being angry.
Doug, the heart of what you're saying is not censoring one another, giving people a voice.
Yes.
Okay. And so I can tell you, being canceled is not. I was hardcore canceled in the past, like the worst evil shit going on. I don't even want to get into it. And so, yeah, freedom of speech, man, is huge. And that's the heart of what you're saying. Is
like if you disagree with me and think something different, awesome. Actually, I want to listen to you and see what you have to say.
Right.
You know, that's actually interesting me when you believe something totally different or you think something differently. Cool. I think that's awesome. I'm not going to be mad at you.
Right. That used to be a lot more normal. We're two buddies.
Yeah, you just be like, oh, you're a dummy or whatever, dude. You know, whatever. That was it. We didn't care anything past that.
Right. One's a Democrat, one's a Republican. They're having a beer. They argue, and then
one's
they're
a Giants
still best
fan.
buddies. Like,
yeah.
the next day. So, man, that used to be a lot more normal.
Well, here's a good example too. I'm a big Packer fan, and Lambeau Field's very old school, and it still feels like you're in the 1950s. So people there, you go to a football game, and they're like, here, have some of our beer and our brats. Here, have all our food. Like, let's be best friends. You're from the other team? Oh, that's cool. Oh, you're into this team? Whatever, bro. Let's get some drinks. And people come back, and they're like, what? It was that place. No, that doesn't exist at other stadiums. Other stadiums are like, fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. Getting into fights with you. And in Lambeau Field, they're like, oh, you want to come to dinner next week? Like,
Doug, I saw an Airbnb right across from Lambeau. I saw it on TikTok recently. It looks like the bomb diggity. The Airbnb has a garage where
all those people live there, and then
it's a bar, and you invite people over to come hang out at your Airbnb.
They actually did on the Thursday night's broadcast on Thanksgiving. They had somebody at someone's house hanging around celebrating Thanksgiving. The cameraman just walked out through the garage, and Lambeau Field's like right there, right? It was just, and they opened the garage, and they're just like boom, and it was like just cool.
Man, the time flies. It's time warp. I just saw the time. I would love to do this more. Let's do this. Let's maybe do this again.
Let's.
Fun.
I'm down, man. Just let me know whatever you want to do, and as long as I'm available, like I'm super down to do
This
it.
is fun. Before we leave, we got to do one of these. Grady, we love you. Welcome back. Before I sign us out, anything you want to say? Anything that you haven't said that you want to say before we sign out?
Oh man, I could go on for hours.
All right,
Sticks. Read my top Twitter post. You'll real quick find out why it got canceled. It'll be obvious.
Oh my god. My 2 cents is, Sir Wormer, if you're watching this, I've DM'd you. You've got 2 heroes I want. I have one. I'm trying to trade with you, bud. Read your DM.
Sir Worm was in the house
He was
hour
in there
and a
for a
half
minute.
ago.
I saw that and I didn't want to interrupt him. Yes, put your guesses on the tweet. It's not Beeb's wondering if it's Ellen DeGeneres, Doug. Is he right?
Yeah. Well, because that looks like Ellen. I looks like a
no. The other person. The
Why would it be Ellen? Ellen doesn't have dark hair though. Ellen has blonde hair. I don't know.
I mean, if it's a shadow, we don't know if it's blonde or dark.
Maybe she dyed her hair dark black. I guess that's possible. That's a really good guess because Ellen does cause trouble. You know what I mean? She's a troublemaker, so that's an interesting person. But I can't disclose who it is yet. Like everyone wants me to tell.
When do we find out?
Like, it was a contest. You got to guess.
When do we find out? When do we find out?
It's a shadow. Actually, the Beef just says it's a shadow, Doug. Beef,
right.
You might get extra credit for that. You might DM me, Beef. You might have to like get a separate prize. Just he said it's a shadow. That's not wrong.
Not wrong. When do we find out?
Well, I don't even know yet. I have to finish like the episode. I think I'm going to reveal it in the episode, so you have to watch it. So.
Fair. Any closing remarks?
What I'll do is through trolling the person, I'll like make them do stuff that person would do and just troll the fuck out of them, you know. And what's really funny is the person who it is, I asked them to do the voice for the video and they never did it, even though they said they were going to. So that makes me go like, they're like, and then they apologize. I'm like, no. I'm now just going to troll you even fucking harder. Like,
wow.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to teach you a lesson really, but it's just like, if you didn't step up and say that do the thing you said you're going to do, now I get to control the character more and I can just like,
I can't confirm or deny that Doug asked me to do a voiceover.
That's right. I'm trying also just to throw spears in different directions and just redirect
misdirection. It's
disdirection.
Indirection. It's all good.
Sherlock Holmes stuff. Misdirect you.
And any closing remarks from you, Doug?
Gaming's cool. I just saw a bunch of games that I got announcements like today or the last couple of days. The Witcher 4 and this new thing called fucking like Intergalactic looks completely mind blowing. I know we all love Web3 and everything, but gaming's fucking dope, man. Like cool games are coming out. Shrapnel just got a new CEO from Xbox. I saw that
from Xbox.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff's happening. Even though the gaming industry doesn't always feel great. I just started playing Marvel Rivals. I just love gaming, man. And I've been playing lots of Web3 games, Shatterline, and lots of stuff that's on AVAX. AVAX is fucking doing amazing right now. And they have a content creator program too. So if you're a content creator and want to be part of that, you should try to join. And even if they don't accept you right now, they might in the future because they have tons of them that they're onboarding. And it's a revolution happening right now in gaming where people care about creators, about people, whatever. The community's really doing amazing, cool as shit. And hang out and let's just have fun and just have fun, man. And just have a good time and make friends.
That's what it's about. I was going to make a troll comment because I saw the announcement, Shrapnel CEO, a former Xbox affiliate. I was going to make a joke. I used to work at a CVS, Doug, once upon a time. I would love to say that this show is hosted by a former Fortune 500 company employee. Right. and maybe who knows, maybe my numbers go up. I don't know. But anyhow, I'm going to sign us off with this. It's a goodie, an oldie, but a goodie.
In the house.
Right in the house.
In the house.
Love you, Kupo. Shout out to Kupo. B.
Right.
No, it's
intern.
FK and AVAX and
Dr. J. That's right. Joe Zoe. Yeah.
Joe Zoe. Dr. J in the house.